He wasn't a fugitive. He wasn't hiding in the wilderness. He wasn't living off the grid or running from police across state lines. He lived in a quiet neighborhood in Kansas City. To anyone looking from the outside, he seemed ordinary. A man who worked regular jobs. A man who blended in. A man you wouldn't think twice about passing on the street. But inside his home, behind closed doors, something far darker was happening. This is the story of Robert Berdella, a case that became known as one of the most disturbing serial murder investigations in Missouri history. In the mid-1980s, police began noticing something strange. Young men were disappearing in Kansas City. At first, the cases didn't seem connected. Different backgrounds, different lifestyles, no obvious pattern. But slowly, investigators started to see a link. Some of the victims had last been seen with a man who offered help. Sometimes it was work, sometimes shelter, sometimes just a friendly conversation that turned into an invitation. That man was Robert Berdella. Berdella worked in retail and art supply businesses. He had contacts in the local art community. He didn't appear threatening. In fact, to most people he seemed quiet and unremarkable. And that's what made the case so difficult at first. Nothing pointed clearly to him. But everything changed in 1988. One of the victims managed to escape. He ran, injured and terrified, and contacted authorities. When police heard what he had been through, they moved quickly to locate the house he described. When they arrived at Berdella's home, what they found inside would shock even experienced investigators. Evidence of prolonged captivity, personal belongings of multiple victims, signs that this was not an isolated incident, but something repeated over time. Berdella was arrested almost immediately. During questioning, the case began to expand. At first he denied everything, but eventually he began to talk. He confessed to multiple murders and provided disturbing details that helped investigators understand the scale of what had happened inside that house. He explained how victims had been brought in over time, how they had been held, how control was maintained. The investigation revealed a pattern of extreme violence and abuse that had gone unnoticed for years. And yet, from the outside, nothing about his life had raised alarm. He wasn't wealthy. He wasn't powerful. He wasn't living in isolation. He lived in a normal neighborhood, surrounded by people who had no idea what was happening next door. Berdella later agreed to cooperate with authorities in exchange for avoiding the death penalty. He was sentenced to life in prison. He died in custody in 1992. The exact number of victims is still uncertain, though he admitted to multiple killings. Investigators believe there may have been more cases connected to him that were never fully proven. What makes this case so disturbing isn't just the crimes themselves. It's how long they went unnoticed. A quiet street, a normal-looking house, a man who didn't stand out. And behind it all, a hidden reality that no one saw until it was too late. Because sometimes, the most dangerous people are not the ones who look suspicious. They're the ones who look completely ordinary.